Okay, I think let's discuss any questions that you would want to discuss. Others can join as we discuss. So, do we have any questions from this week? Any doubts based on the videos or the graded assignments?
So in the questions, there are no doubt, but these all different libraries, these sometimes look like overwhelming. Overwhelming in the sense there are so much to learn. So how one to approach this? That as the sir and explained in the sir explained in the lectures that we have to stick up to that content, or means, because if we see in the broader sense there are so much to learn, but due to time constraint, if we move too deeper, then other things we cannot learn. Some things are left.
Yeah,
So
Mahesh, that's a good question. So that kind of doubt actually comes up in every course that in every run that this course has taken in in the last 1 year. So you have so much to learn, but uh, that is actually helpful for you in the long run. But if you don't need to fear that any questions will come out of the given syllabus for your exam, because whatever you learn, whatever is there in the lecture, that alone will come for the exam. In terms of exam, you don't have to fear that something totally different might come for the exam. That will not happen at all. But in terms of learning, because this might be the first time you might be coming across lots of different Python libraries, and we know that there are so many Python libraries available for so many tasks. So it is definitely not possible for us to be so well versed with all these libraries. That becomes really difficult. It is not possible even for us, those who for even the other instructors who are proficient in different libraries in the industry. It is not possible for them to learn all these libraries. So as and when you come across these libraries, there are few very important libraries such as the pandas or the numpy. And then if you want web scraping, there is beautiful soup. So I think there are around very few libraries. And if you go to visualizations, there will be matplotlib, and there are, again, I would say around 5 to 6 or maybe maximum 10 libraries that are important and that you'll come across very often as you go and program in the industry, or as you program different things. So uh, you cannot learn these libraries just by looking at videos. So that is one thing that I can tell you. The more you actually incorporate these libraries into your code, the more you incorporate these things into different projects or assignments, that is how you will be able to get really good at learning these libraries. So initially it is really, it seems yeah, I would say, yeah, it would seem really difficult to actually come across so much new content. But as time goes on, in maybe in 6 months time or in a year's time, when you try to incorporate these libraries into projects, so looking at a video and working on that is, I would say, that is not a good way to learn a library. The best way to learn a library or to learn code for in general would be to apply those things in a project of your own. So I would say my main only suggestion would be to actually look at different projects, not just the one that is there in the tedious course. But I'm just talking about in terms of learning, not just for these 3 months or these 2 months that you have for tedious course. But if you really want to get good at learning, try to implement different projects using these different libraries, and that will actually help you it will help you learn these libraries. You will get to know different functions, how to implement those functions, what type of parameters are there in the functions. That is the only way where you will be able to really understand the nuts and bolts of these libraries, Mahesh.
yes, sir. One more thing is that it feels like that we have been left in a pond of knowledge. A lot to learn is surrounding us, and sometimes if we go that side, then some things are there which we don't know prior. We counter it as a new, like HTML. if we say, because it is new, I haven't learned HTML, so some things are there which are very conceptual, very fundamental, which I don't know about HTML, but these are used in these libraries, because so much data is in the form of HTML. So how to encounter this problem? That means yes, I means we can search on Google, and but you still we don't know the path, that step by step guide. So that means if I take, so first I have to approach this in that way, next I have to go on this, and third I have to go on this type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
approach.
yeah. That's again a good question, Mike. So, what I would say is, whatever you learn in TDS, so the first thing that you need to keep in mind is that you're trying to do something, you're trying to learn something concerning data science. So that is a very broad picture. Data science is what you're trying to learn. So the important things for you is to be able to know Python really well, know these libraries very well, and then and also have some knowledge about different types of modeling and regression. So these are the main components of data science, and this is what you need to concentrate on. The other things, such as learning about HTML, learning about inspect elements, learning about some HTML tags, those things and all are not important, because you're not going to go into web development, which is where you will actually have to have an in-depth knowledge of HTML or CSS or those type of JavaScript. Those type of scripting technologies will be useful if you go into web development. That is not our main concern. All you need to know is very basic stuffs of HTML, like what are these tags, how do they operate. That's it. You don't need to go into depth, because your concern is just data science, and data science requires very basic knowledge of other things. In terms of HTML, very basic knowledge. So it is enough if you actually know, just have an what do you say, a very overview, an overview of what HTMLs or any other technologies are, when you're trying to use that in junction with data science. So just keep in mind that for data science, you need to know Python, you need to know different libraries, you need to know this modeling or some machine learning techniques. That is what your focus has to be. Other things, the level that we teach you in data science, that is more than enough for you to know in terms of data science. So the important thing here is to scope your learning. There has to be a scope. If you just keep on extending, just like it is in a Wikipedia, right? You just go and try to search for a thing, it has number of links attached to a given description definition, then you go into the other link, it keeps on going. So that is, we need to stop at some place. So you need to know how do you scope yourself here in this data science, and what you're learning in tools for data science. It is actually a very good foundation, I would say. If you really learn, if whatever is being taught in the lecture, whatever is being taught here, if you learn this really well, that is actually a good foundation for you. And then you can build on other things, such as data science related things, not HTML or other things, but data science related things you can build on top of that. I think yeah, other instructors, you can also please answer these questions and provide some suggestions on how we can actually learn this better.
Yeah, Nixon, I think you answered that pretty well. So just one advice that I would like to give you guys is, so let's say you want to scrape the city from BBC or the website, right? So one of the videos that talks about that. So if that's what you want to do, as you said, you might have a step-by-step guidance. Let's say first go open inspect element, search for that location API something. But why that does such kind of guidance might not work is, let's say I change the question now. I say, instead of finding city, I say go to Amazon website and find all mobile phone details. So now if you apply that same exact steps, it will not work, because Amazon website HTML structure could be totally different. It's div ID, whatever that you are looking for can be different. So at the end of the day, what you should be learning is, you have to go to inspect element, look at that code's page source HTML, and figure out how to find that structure, right? So that is the knowledge you should get, rather than having the exact steps that you want to do, because each and every problem, the solution, the exact steps might not be same, but the thought process of how to reach there is what we would like you to learn. So exactly, it's like an internship. So if you are in industry, if you're joining as a data scientist, this is exactly how it's going to be. So you are going to be left in open, as you said, like an analogy, open pool of water, and you have to learn to swim there. So what this course teaches you is how to learn yourself, right? So that is the experience that we want to give you.
Yes, sir. That means that maybe we can try more practical problems. We can search some problems and we can try to solve them. And by solving them, we can learn this.
I think, yeah, you summarize that pretty well. Exactly. Practice more, that will put you into that kind of thought process. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mahesh and Mahesh. Thank you. So I think someone raised their hands here. Dev, Preetodeep Dev, do you have
Yeah,
a question?
yeah. Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. I had a question with regard to one of the lectures in the last week. There was a lecture that was specifically dedicated to getting data from an API. The example I believe that Anand sir used was he used the Google search predictions and he used that API to gather all the data for a particular location. Now, my question is, how legal or how ethical is it, like using an API endpoint, extracting that from a browser, and then writing something automated to keep querying that endpoint or getting some data from that? Are there some legal problems to that? I mean, let's just to elaborate. I mean, it is not that API endpoint is not open as such. It is working through the browser. So, is it okay if you just write a Python code and do something with it?
Okay, I think I'll just share a few thoughts that I have on this, and then maybe other instructors can chip in. So again, I think this question comes up. First, it comes up not in terms of API. So if an API is available to public, then I don't think there is any problem in it, because if it is there available in open website, then you can use the API to get the data. That's not a problem. But a similar question comes up in terms of web scraping. So is web scraping legal, and how does it work there? So I think web scraping, in terms of doing it for your personal projects or doing it just to learn, is not at all a problem. But the problem arises when you try to scrape the data and try to present the results, and then present the results in a public forum. So if you're trying to present your results to in a conference, or do it in a meeting or in a public gathering,
Commercial use.
True. For commercial, yeah, that's a very good example for commercial uses, and not just for commercial users. So in terms of academic conferences also, that there might be a problem if you try to present your results and don't cite the resources.
Okay.
So there also is a problem there if you try to present your data from web scraping. But I think in terms of API, that is not a problem. If the API is publicly available, that means they are letting you get the data. So I don't think there's a problem there.
Okay. For example, how about let's say there is a web app which I'm using. There's some portal. I have some login ID and I'm using it. And for example, that particular web app allows me to get say 10 data points every search, every page, for example. And what I did is I used their API and my login like access token, and I'm instead of getting 10 at a time, I am getting say 10,000 at a time. I'm just using the same API. So in that case, do you think that is legal? I'm using their API, but do you think that is legal?
Maybe I can take that. So APIs are highly programmable, and that is one of the secured ways of connecting between two peer networks. When you say API using an API, the API has a rate limit. Basically, there are two types of rate limit: either a daily limit or a connection frequency. Time-based limit. So if you have an extended connection more than 30 seconds, or maybe like more than 30 minutes, there are certain rules set up in the API along with the API token, which will not allow you to take more than what they want. So ideally, when you say you are collecting a data through API, it's highly secure, and it's all over legal. So it's highly, I mean, the entire restrictions are already programmed in your API. So you can't take something which is which that they don't permit.
Okay, okay. So whatever I have access to, I can safely assume that the developer has already put such like checks and balances in place. So there is no question of abusing it, right?
Correct. If it is an API, yeah, definitely.
Okay, okay, okay. Thanks for the answer, sir. That helped.
We have a question from Sage Lanand. Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, I have a question in graded assignment week 3. The first question, which was about most appropriate Excel feature to perform a cleanup. So,
Okay,
so in
okay.
this question, it is given that the column can contain some
Okay,
unsuspicious
I think I
text.
came across your post and discussed. Did you write
Yes,
something up?
yes,
Okay,
right.
okay. Yeah. I just went through it, Sejal, so I think we'll have a discussion with our team and see what can be done about that, because there are different interpretations that are coming up based on the question. I'll just have a discussion with the team, and I'll post an appropriate response for your post.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Sejal. Do we have other questions? Okay, Prashant has a question. In the rainfall data of assignment questions, not able to find column headings. Can someone explain any one question from them? Not able to find the column headings? You mean the data set doesn't have the column headings, is it, Prashant?
Prashant, I think the rainfall data set which you're looking, maybe you have to check the data set, because ideally when you set header as the first row, then it's easier to get, but in real world we don't have such highly defined data set. So we purposefully have made sure that the header is not in the row 1. So maybe you can check that out, and then still if you're not able to find out the headers, I mean, you can raise out in the discourse forum.
Yeah, can you show it once? Means what you just explained, can you show it?
Okay, we'll check that, but we'll just have a look at it, Prashant. Meanwhile, I think we have a question from Dinesh.
Yes, sir. May I audible first of all?
Yeah, Dinesh, you're audible.
Yeah, actually, I have a doubt in practice assignment question week 3, question number 1.
Yeah, Dinesh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a question about a separate Excel report gets generated while running the profile report in pandas function. So, how we can access that file? Is it true or false? That means a separate Excel file is generated by using profile report.
Yeah, so like I think there was few discussions in discourse as well where we had responded. So the point of view we had asked is if the new file generated will be a separate file or not. So we just use Excel as a reference, but I think that was confusing for few of you. So that is anyway not going to be evaluated. The correct answer is Excel. Yeah, there is no option for Excel, but in our point of view, the answer is true, because we try to see if the new report will be a separate file or not. That was what we are trying to expect. From that perspective, it is true.
Okay, okay.
Yes, Deependra, please go ahead.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Sir, in the graded assignment, question 3 is given that finding a we have to find a regression model. What is the way to find a regression model?
A regression model, I think it's there in the one of your Excel lectures. You'll have to you download the data analysis tool pack, and that you have many statistical models you can use. You have correlation, and then you also have a regression option there. So use that to find the your regression model.
Okay, sir, is it taught in the lectures?
Yeah, it's there in the lecture. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Sir.
So I think Prashant. So let me just share my screen. So this is the rainfall data set that we have.
Sir, actually,
I have got it.
You got it,
Dinesh.
Prashant?
Yeah, I got
Okay,
it.
okay. Thank you.
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, Dinesh, you had a question?
yeah, sir. Actually, it's in about that. How can we scrape from PDF scraping?
Okay. Instructors, PDF
Yeah, I
scraping.
think Ravi, you want to
Yeah,
take that?
yeah. Can you please repeat the question again,
Dinesh.
Yeah,
Dinesh?
actually, I'm asking about the scraping and data from PDFs. I think the old that means video is enabled in portal. That's why I am asking.
Uh, no, I'm sorry. I did not understand your question actually because I believe the lecture was about scraping the PDF document from a given link. Uh, uh, Dixon, can you please explain again the
Yeah,
question?
Dinesh. So no, could you please clearly say what the question is? Are you aware that there is a lecture there? Is the question based on the lecture, or are you trying to ask something different? Dinesh?
Can I clarify it?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Dinesh, there is a PyPDF2 module, so you can scrape PDF data into desired form, and you can use also Excel and Power BI to scrape table in PDF. So yes, this I think lecture number week 2 there is a uh, 2.8 lecture number. So scrape PDF with Python library. So yeah, see, we the lecture question.
Thanks,
I
Yash.
think I
Thank you.
hope.
Actually, now it is available now. Actually, when I read
Oh,
that
you were not having that
music,
lecture in your portal, is it?
Oh, actually, I'll tell you where the confusion occurred, Dixon. Sorry, Dinesh. So earlier, what happened was that particular video, the quality was low, and we re-recorded and we replaced the video. And because of an operational issue, for about half a day, that video was not playing. But now I believe the new video has been replaced, and you can go through it.
yeah, sir, yeah, now fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nidish and Yash, for your support here. Thank you. Do we have other questions?
Yeah, like seems like there are no more questions, Dixon. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
excuse me, sir.
Yeah, Pritudev. Yeah.
Yeah, sir, I had one last question. Actually, I was searching for the relevant video lecture. That's why I could not respond in time.
Sure. Please go
Sir,
ahead.
my question specifically relates to the lecture that was teaching us about Excel data transformation, about the trim function and such. There was one lecture in that.
Okay. Okay.
So my question is, I don't remember the exact function now. I guess it was trim or some other function. But what it did was it basically took two columns as input and like produced the output on a third column. So there was a formula and that referenced two other columns.
Okay.
So my question is, when I use that formula reference, for example, let's talk about the trim functions. If I say trim A1 B1, or let's say I just trim A1, okay, that one column I trim that, and I am putting the output in say B1, and then I autofill the entire B and A columns. I mean, I autofill the entire B column. So what I have is, in column A I have some data with some extra spaces, and in column B I have the clean data without any extra space. Now my question is, can I safely remove column A and still retain the data in column B?
So I'll take that question, Dixon.
Thanks, Ravi.
In that case, Pritadeep, what you need to do is you need to, let's say in column A, you have your actual data with spaces, and in column B, use the trim function and kind of remove the spaces. So when you kind do an autofill, the column B kind of has a reference to column A. So you
Yeah.
cannot delete directly column A, because then it will have a reference error. So what you need to do is, once you autofill your column B, just copy the column B and paste it with values only. So in that case, the values get copied and then you can delete the column A.
Okay, so I copy column B and I paste it in some other column as values only.
Or you can paste it in column B itself with values only, and then you can remove the column A.
Okay, so I can just copy B and paste it onto itself as values only.
Yes, exactly.
So can I extend that, and instead of like pasting B onto itself, can I paste B directly onto A? That way I can just delete B, or that is not possible?
You can do it. It will just over it. The moment you press values only, the reference is removed, and whatever values are present, they just copy it directly.
All
The
right,
problem is, if you delete initially without copying the values, because B is having a reference to A, you'll get the reference error.
Okay. So I assume this particular method works for any formula
Yes,
with
exactly.
references.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks for the answer, sir. Thank you.
Okay, the last call for questions.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
So my Python profiling was not working. I don't know which type of error is coming. So what I have to do?
What error, Shweta?
Sir, Python profiling report, the last
Okay.
code.
Okay.
Sir, this is not working.
Okay.
I mean, the profile report itself is not getting generated, Shweta, or only
So
the
profile
last part?
report not generating.
So I believe it's because of the version of Pandas. Did you kind of downgrade the Pandas before running this particular piece of code?
So Panda library is working because I changed the library Panda 1.2.0 and then it's working. But last the profile report was not generating HTML profile report.
If you don't mind, Shweta, can you just take a screenshot of the error and post it in Discord? I will give a reply there, seeing the error.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Dinesh has raised his hand. Yeah, Dinesh.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm confusing in that means how can we extract the image from the uh, web directly from web by using the Python. It's a very long uh, code, so I'm not that means understanding that much code.
Which lecture is this about, Dinesh? You want to extract image from website?
Yeah, directly image extracting.
Instructors, do you have an idea about this?
Is the question specific to an extension of the video lecture, or it's a separate question that you would like to ask?
Actually, the study is taught in the lecture.
Is it the one using pillow or the image labeling of chess pieces? That one, Dinesh?
Yes, sir, just a minute. I am checking.
And while you bring it up, Dinesh, to answer your question, Pritodeep, unfortunately, Pandas profiling has support till Pandas version less than 1.2, I believe. We're just waiting for it to get upgraded. I don't think there is another way of getting the report without downgrading the Pandas.
Okay, okay.
Sir, can I
Thanks, you. Thank you, sir.
can I share the skin for the same question?
Yes, please.
Because I'm a okay. So I'm facing issue in Panda profiling. Okay, sir. Let me see.
Yeah, please go on, Deependra. Please let us know your question.
Yeah, yes, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. The first line is executed. It done. And next line, I try to execute. Okay. This line is giving error. This error. I got this error.
Can you just downgrade the Pandas instead of Pandas profile to, let me see the version. 1 second.
Okay. Pip install Pandas. Only Pandas.
Pip install Pandas, and there's a specific version for that. We need to include that. We need to download that particular version.
Actually, it has been answered and resolved in few posts in discourse. So we have copy pasted that exact line itself for reference.
I just pinged in the chat. Can you just install this particular version of Pandas and run it?
Where is the chat? Pip install.
And I also shared the discourse post where it was raised in the discourse and it has been answered.
Okay, sir. I'm trying to visit this.
Yeah, sure.
With this version.
And Shweta, hopefully it's a different error you are having than the one in discourse.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, Shweta. So in discourse there was one issue raised already for Pandas profiling. I mean, if it's the same issue, you can go through it. Else, if it's a new issue, kindly post it in discourse. We'll answer it again.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Dinesh.
Yeah, actually, I got the lecture number 3.8. It's about the image labeling with chess pieces.
Okay. What is your question there, Dinesh?
So my question is that means it's a very long code for the extracting image from.
I
Okay.
think we lost.
I'm not
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, Dinesh, I think we couldn't hear you. So you have a doubt in a specific line of code, is it? Are you doubtful about any particular line of code, or are you not able to get the code?
Yeah, actually, I think it's a HTML page, so why we can't extract from Beautiful Soft? That means web scraping by the help of web scraping, because we can scrape the image from that.
Okay. Teja, do you have an answer for this?
So here, sir, is different libraries.
Okay. No, I think I'm just trying to paraphrase what you're saying. So the question is, that why aren't we trying to extract the image using Beautiful Soup, but we're trying to use different libraries to extract the image. Is that your question, Dinesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Dinesh, to answer your question, I mean, not with not with respect to Beautiful Soup alone. There is one more follow-up lecture which you will be receiving in the coming weeks, where you kind of use a classification problem to identify the chess pieces into different buckets. So having that in mind, we kind of prepared this lecture, which will be acting as the preamp for that particular lecture, which will be following up. That's the reason why we used different libraries in this. There are I mean, there are two thoughts behind this process. One is to introduce a new library again, just to know how we can prepare the images. And number two, this will be acting as a precursor for the lecture, which you'll be receiving maybe I think 2 weeks down the lane.
Okay. So, but we can extract image from Beautiful Soup also. Am I
Um,
right?
Mahesh, can you answer that question? Because I haven't worked in
Yeah,
detail with
so
Beautiful Soup.
is the question about if we could extract images using Beautiful Soup?
Yes.
That's the question. Okay, yeah. So to answer that, yes, you can. So as you might know, Beautiful Soup extracts information from any HTML tag, right? So in a website, if there are images, there will be a tag called img src equal to, right? So if you can extract images using Beautiful Soup, the tag that you have to use is img. So in any website, when you have an image, if you right click and give view page source, and if you control F and search for img, you can find all the images will be referenced by img. So it is possible. Yeah, you should look for the tag img.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Dinesh.
And also, just to add, Dinesh, I believe even in the lecture, we would have used Beautiful Soup only to pull the images with the search, just as
Yes,
Mahesh had
Ravi.
just
Yeah.
quoted. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Shweta.
So I'm trying to change the Python panda equals to 1.1.5, but still I'm getting same error.
Yes, sir. Same for me.
Sure. If you don't mind, can you just post it in the Discord, Shweta? We will see what the error is and we'll run it and we'll answer it there.
Yeah. Please also have a look at the link that Ravi pasted there. Have a look if that issue actually matches your issue. If it doesn't, please post your queries in Discourse and we'll have a look at it and we'll answer it.
So one last try you can do is you can downgrade to version 0.8.0. For me, it worked. So that is one option, but nevertheless, post in Discourse if we could find a better solution. We will.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Shweta. Do we have another question?
No, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, actually, just I'm confirming that means difference between API and web scraping. Actually,
Okay.
I understood, sir, that in API we have to deal only with the JSON format to extract the data, and in other that means in web scraping we have to deal with the HTML page. Am I right?
Not exactly that way. So like API is used when you interact and you are waiting for a response in real time, right? So in the BBC website, if you see, you give a city name and then you are waiting for the details of the city name to come. So when such interactions happen, there are always APIs that exchange this information. But in a normal website, when you don't do anything and you just want to extract the complete information, it will typically be HTML. So, but web scraping involves both, right? So sometimes you might have to extract information from APIs, sometimes you might have to extract information from HTML. So from my understanding, generally web scraping means extracting information from the web, which could constitute HTML, the JSON, API, whatever, right? So it's from the web. That is my understanding. I also would like other instructors to give their viewpoints.
That's right, Mahesh. Yeah. What you mentioned is perfectly right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Dinesh.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, Pritodip. Yeah.
Yeah, sir, just a quick query. Is web scraping the same thing as web crawling? What search engine web crawlers do?
Yeah.
Is it the same thing?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
When ROE exam will happen?
Your remote online exam, I think it's mentioned in your course introduction, right? I think it is somewhere on November 4th or 5th. I'm not sure.
Yeah, tools of data science, ROE, 5th November. So, okay, yeah.
So all the dates are there in the course document. It will happen as per that.
Okay, OP exam. I don't know about OP exam. Is there any OP exam
No,
for
there is
TDS?
no online programming exam. So you only have 2 projects. One project is, I think it will be released on October 17th.
Yeah,
the other project on November 4th. And there is one remote online exam which is on November 5th. And finally, your final end term on 11th December.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So if there are no more questions, I think we can close the session. Okay, thank you guys.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Have
Thanks
a
for the
great week.
session,
Thank you. If you have any queries, please raise them in discourse and have a great discussion in discourse and have a great time learning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.